Hey everyone, this is Martin from howtomakemobilegames.com on June the 26th, 2016, and it is a Sunday here in Shanghai, China. What time are we on? About 6 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's been a busy weekend. Been doing a lot of stuff, making some more videos now, so you guys, if you've seen on the free section, you've probably seen some more gameplay videos, and that's just because we've not had videos on our App Store accounts for most of our games, like for the majority of them. So you'll see a few of those on the free channel, but don't worry, you'll also see more of these videos actually talking about business. So this video today is talking about the question of, is Apple losing the App Store war between itself and Google Play? And Amazon's a smaller player in there, so I'm guessing it's between Apple and Google, which are the two major ones, at least in the West anyway. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because of a few updates which has happened recently in Apple. First off though, guys, just to let you know, if you're seeing this on the free channel, you're only going to see around 25 or 30% of the video, and the full video is available on the How to Make Mobile Games Pro channel. You can go there on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description, and it's a $3 a month subscription, and you have a 2-week free trial. You can check it out. There's over 100 videos on there now, and talking all about how much money we've made, what's worked for us, what's not worked for us. And after 2 weeks, if you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe. You can just obviously click off and that's it. You can also come to howtomakemobilegames.com, and the pro section at the top also contains all the pro videos. So FYI, if you are on the free channel, more of this, you'll see more of these types of preview videos, but all of the videos are on the pro section, so please come and check it out. So I wrote some notes down the other day when I just woke up, and it kind of hit me the other day. So this is just an opinion piece really, guys, and I'm trying to zoom out here on my device to see it, about why I think that Apple might be a little bit worried. So obviously now one of the things is with Google Play, I think it actually has more apps and more games than iOS. And it feels to me as a developer and publisher that there are now a lot more developers going onto Google Play a lot faster than iOS. And there's a few reasons for that. One of them is like the Android devices as a whole. There's more of them out there than there are iOS. iOS as a single, Apple as a single manufacturer on its own is the biggest, but it is not bigger than all of the Android phone manufacturers together. So Samsung plus LG plus Huawei in China, and whoever else. So they make up a big majority. The other reason is that it's a lot faster to submit to Google Play. You don't have to wait for any review time. It's $25 a year, and you don't have to have a Mac to develop for Android devices. You only need to have an Android device. You can actually do it without having an Android device as well. You know, obviously you could use the emulator, but it's a lot easier to get on Android, and that's why it is also a much more crowded market as well. So I think what's happened recently, and why I think Apple might be getting a little bit worried, or they're trying to change things around, is one thing that happened a couple of weeks ago is Apple started to do one-day reviews for the apps which are submitted to their store, the apps or games. Previously, it was taking 12 days for us on average. I think I did a rough check, or off the top of my head was probably like 8 to 12 days. Now that's a lot of time to wait to get your app live or your game live on the Apple App Store, or get any feedback. If you got feedback, you had to wait another 8 to 12 days. Now that's a big problem, guys, because I mean, for us as a small indie developer, a business, we want to get our games live as soon as possible, and in some situations, it once or twice, not only a very few amount of times, it actually led me to not bothering publishing an iOS version and just moving straight on to the next game and doing the Google version, because things were delayed and SDKs were a problem for iOS. But then there was also the 12-day wait, so I was like, oh well, let's just move on to the next game and forget this one for iOS. One of the big reasons, like I said, was because of that wait, that 12-day or 8-day wait, which is a long time. So they've recently changed it to 1 day. Now, what does that do for Apple? I'm just going to check my notes here because I did have some thoughts. I can't zoom in and out very easily on this. What does that do for Apple with one-day reviews? What's the benefit for them? The only benefit that I can see with doing one-day reviews is basically to get more developers interested in their store and to get the games or apps live faster for the developers. It doesn't make the store a better place for the end user, I don't think. It just makes it a little bit more enticing for developers, a little bit, competitive with Google Play's no delay review, no time review, and also Amazon's one-day review. They do like 1 or 2 days Amazon. It's live very quickly on the Amazon App Store. So I don't see any benefit apart from maybe lots of developers just complaining about it takes too long, and so we focus on the Android version more, which makes sense. So they want to keep developers obviously building for their store, making things, being able to release them faster and not losing them to focusing more on Android. So that's one big reason. I'm glad that Apple did it. I'm really happy because for us, we now focus a lot more on getting the iOS version just as much as getting the Android version of our games done. So before it was sort of like, oh crap, we've got to do the iOS version, oh this is going to take days, oh forget it, move on. Or it was always a bit of a pain, but now it's like, no, in fact, why don't we publish the iOS version first and then the Google Play version, because it's only a day or 1 to 2 days review. I think on the weekends they don't do reviews. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, so it's a lot faster. Let me just check what I wrote before, guys. So get more devs on board. The other reason why they want to keep developers in there, okay, now I'll go into my next points in a moment, but I kind of wrote this out of order. But if you think about it, Apple actually wants to keep developers interested because they probably make a lot of money off developers, not only through in-app purchases, okay, obviously they take 30% of any in-app purchase, but also because as developers, I don't know how many developers there are, let's say 10,000 plus or whatever it may be, almost every developer must have a Mac and an iPhone or an iPad. I, on Macs, have spent, in the past 5 years, since I started Cobble Play in 2011, I've bought 2 MacBook Pros. I won an iPhone 4, so I didn't actually pay for that, but still, I had to get the device. My wife has bought an iPad 1 and an iPhone 5S. Okay, now I would have purchased those if she didn't already have them available. I can just test on her device. So, but think about that. I've paid for the MacBooks was around a total £2,000 in 5 years, and that's for £1,000 for one MacBook Pro. That's not cheap. And then also the iPhone 5S, which I would have had to have purchased if my wife already didn't. Probably around £500 to £600, just paying the cash. And then with the iPad 1 and maybe the old iPhone 4S, maybe another £400. Let's just say, just round it down a little bit. But that's what, 1,000, 2,000, then another, so £3,000 in 5 years. And then there's the $100 registration fee for your yearly Apple developer account as well. So that's quite a lot of money in that time. Now, I don't know if that's big money for Apple. I honestly don't know if they're like, oh, the developers are a really big section of our buyer base, and so we have to keep them happy by, keeping them developing games or apps fast for us, so we have to keep them happy. Maybe yeah, maybe no. One of the big problems that I think Apple really has to handle or fix, though, is the algorithm and being able to make smaller indie games more visible and less focused on if you pay for downloads you can rank high. That's always been a problem. That's always been a huge problem because it cuts out so many developers who might be working hard to actually build something great, really spend time and put their heart into it.